Perris Union High School District. Student Science, Safety Rules, and Safety Contract. The purpose. Science is a hands-on laboratory class. You will be doing many laboratory activities which require the use of hazardous chemicals. Safety in the science classroom is the #1 priority for students, teachers, and parents. To ensure a safe science classroom, a list of rules has been developed and provided to you in the Student Safety Contract. These rules must be followed at all times. 2 copies of the contract are provided. 1 copy must be signed by you and a parent or guardian before you can participate. The second copy is to be kept in your science notebook as a constant reminder of the safety rules. General guidelines. Conduct yourself in a responsible manner at all times in the laboratory. Number 2. Follow all written and verbal instructions carefully. If you do not understand the direction or part of the procedure, ask the instructor before you proceed. Number 3. Never work alone. No students may work in the laboratory without an instructor. Number 4. When first entering a science room, do not touch any equipment, chemicals, animals, or other materials in the laboratory area until you have been instructed to do so. Number 5. Do not eat food, drink beverages, or chew gum in the laboratory. Do not use the laboratory glassware as a container for food or beverages. Number 6. Perform only those experiments authorized by the instructor. Never do anything in the laboratory that is not called for in the laboratory procedures or by your instructor. Carefully follow all instructions, both written and oral. Unauthorized experiments are prohibited. Number 7. Be prepared to work in the laboratory. Read all procedures thoroughly before entering the laboratory. Never fool around in the laboratory. Horseplay, practical jokes, and pranks are dangerous and are prohibited. Number 8. Observe good housekeeping practices. Work areas should be kept clean, tidy at all times. Bring your laboratory instructions, worksheets, and/or other reports to the work area. Other materials, such as books, purses, backpacks, etc., should be stored in a separate classroom area. Number 9. Keep aisles clear. Push your chairs under the desk when you are not using them. Number 10. Know the locations and the operating procedures of all safety equipment, including the first aid kit, eye wash station, safety showers, fire extinguisher, and fire blanket. Know where the fire alarm and exits are located. Always work in a well-ventilated area. Use the fume hood when working with volatile substances or poisonous vapors. Never place your head into the fume hood. Number 12. Be alert and proceed with caution at all times in the laboratory. Notify the instructor immediately if any unsafe conditions are observed. Number 13. Dispose all chemical waste properly. Never mix chemicals in the sink drains. Sink drains are to be used only for water and those solutions designated by the instructor. Solid chemicals, metals, matches, fiber paper, and all other insoluble materials are to be disposed in the proper waste containers, not in the sink. Check the labels of all waste containers twice before adding your chemical waste to the container. Number 14. Labels and equipment instructions must be read carefully before use. Set up and use the prescribed apparatus as described in the laboratory instruction and/or by your instructor. Number 15. Keep hands away from face, eyes, mouth, and body while using chemicals or preserved specimens. Clean with detergent, rinse, wipe, and dry all work surfaces, including the sink and the apparatus at the end of the experiment. Return all equipment clean and in working order to the proper storage area. Wash your hands with soap and water after performing all experiments. Number 16. Experiments must be personally monitored at all times. Do not wander around the room, distract other students, or interfere with laboratory experiments of others. Number 17. Students are never permitted in the science storage rooms or preparation areas unless given specific permission by their instructor. Know what to do if there is an emergency during the laboratory period. Containers must be closed, gas valves turned off, fume hoods turned off, and any electrical equipment turned off. Number 19. Handle all living organisms used in the laboratory activity in a humane manner. Preserved biological materials are to be handled and disposed properly. Number 12. When using knives or other sharp instruments, always carry with the tips pointing down and away from you. Always cut away from your body. Never try to catch falling sharp instruments. Grasp sharp instruments only by the handles. Dress code. Number 1. Anytime chemicals, heat, or glassware are to be used, students will wear laboratory goggles. There will be no exceptions to this rule. Number 2. Contact lenses should not be worn in the laboratory unless you have permission from your instructor. Number 3. Dress properly during the laboratory activity. Long hair, dangling jewelry, and loose or hanging clothes are hazardous in the laboratory. Long hair must be tied back, and dangling jewelry and loose baggy clothes must be secured. Shoes must be completely cover the foot. No sandals are allowed. Number 4. Laboratory aprons have been provided for you and should be used during some laboratory activities. Accidents and injuries. Report any accidents, spillages, breakages, or any injuries, cuts, burns, etc. to the instructor immediately, no matter how trivial it may appear. If you or your lab partner are hurt, immediately get the instructor's attention. If a chemical should splash on your eyes or your skin, immediately flush it with running water from the eye wash station or safety shower from at least 20 minutes. Notify the instructor immediately. Handling chemicals. Number 1. All chemicals in the laboratory are to be considered dangerous. Do not touch, taste, or smell any chemicals unless specifically instructed to do so. The proper techniques for smelling chemical fumes is wafting and will be demonstrated for you. Number 2. Check the labels on the chemical bottles twice before removing any of its contents. Take only as much chemicals as you need. Number 3. Never return unused chemicals to their original containers. Number 4. Never use a mouth suction to fill a pipette. Use a rubber bulb or pipette to pump. Number 5. When transferring reagents from one container to another, hold the container away from your body. Number 6. Acids must be handled with extreme care. You will be shown the proper method for diluting strong acids. Always add acids to water and swirl or stir the solution, and be careful of the heat produced, particularly with sulfuric acid. Handle flammable hazardous liquids over a pan to contain spills. Never dispense flaming liquids anywhere near the open flame or source of heat. Number 8. Never remove chemicals or other materials from the laboratory area. Number 9. Take great care when transferring acids and other chemicals from one part of the laboratory to another. Hold them securely and walk carefully. Handling glassware and equipment. Number 1. Carry glassware, tubing, especially long pieces, in vertical position to minimize the likelihood of breakage and injury. Number 2. Never handle broken glass with your bare hands. Use the brush and dustpan to clean up broken glass. Place broken waste or glassware in the designated glass disposal container. Number 3. Inserting and removing glass tubes from the rubber stopper can be dangerous. Always lubricate the glassware tubing before attempting to insert it into the stopper. Always protect your hands with towels or cotton gloves when inserting glass tubings into or removing it from the rubber stopper. If a piece of glassware becomes frozen in a stopper, take it to your instructor for removal. Number 4. When removing electrical plug from the socket, grasp the plug, not the electrical cord. Hands must be completely dry before touching electrical switch, plugs, or outlets. Number 5. Examine the glassware before each use. Never use chipped or cracked glass. Never use dirty glassware. Number 6. Report damaged electrical equipment immediately. Look for things such as frayed cords, exposed wires, or loose connections. Do not use damaged electrical equipment. Number 7, if you do not understand how to use a piece of equipment, ask the instructor for help. Do not immerse hot glassware in cold water, it may shatter. Heating substances. Exercising extreme caution when using a gas burner. Take care that hair, clothing, and hands are safe distance away from the flame at all times. Do not put any substances into the flame unless specifically instructed to do so. Never reach over an exposed flame. Light burners only as instructed. Number 2. Never leave lit burners unattended. Never leave anything that is being heated or visibly reacting unattended. Always turn the burner or hot plate off when not in use. Number 3. You will be instructed in the proper method of heating and boiling liquids in the test tube. Do not point the open end of the test tube being heated at yourself or anyone else. Number 4. Heated materials and glass remain very hot for a long time. They should be set aside to cool and picked up with caution. Only use tongs or heat protective gloves if necessary. Number 5. Never look into a container that is being heated. Number 6. Do not place a hot apparatus directly on the laboratory desk. Always use an insulating pad. Allow plenty of time for hot apparatuses to cool before touching it again. If you have any questions, please ask the instructor at this time.